EV makers shocked as their EVs are catching fire in huge numbers. EV makers are in for a rude awakening as their electric vehicles are catching fire in alarming numbers. While they tout these cars as the future of transportation, the reality is hitting hard. EV fires are not only more frequent, but also more dangerous and difficult to control than traditional fires. Let's explore the shocking truth behind these fiery disasters and their wider implications. Cases of EV fires. We've all heard the tales of how EVs are supposed to be the future of transportation, right? Cleaner, greener, and safer, or so they claim. But the reality is starting to look a lot different. It's time to pull back the curtain and see the shocking truth. Electric vehicles are catching fire at an alarming rate. So let's dive into some of the jaw-dropping incidents that are making headlines and raising serious concerns. So let's start with the GM factory incident back in December 2023. A battery fire erupted, causing a whopping $1 million in damages. It wasn't just a small fire either. It took almost 100 firefighters to tackle the blaze. And we're supposed to believe that these vehicles are safe. Jump over to Oslo, Norway, where just a few weeks before this video was made, an electric bus ignited while parked at a public charging station. Yeah, you heard that right. A public charging station. Can you picture how unsettling it is for something designed to be so convenient to suddenly turn into a potential fire hazard? People expect to charge their vehicles safely, not watch them go up in flames. Then there was the incident in Colorado in March 2023. An EV fire in a parking garage escalated into a full-scale garage fire. Parking garages are supposed to be safe places for our cars, but not potential infernos. The thought of an entire garage catching fire because of an EV is enough to make anyone think twice about where they park. And just when you think it can't get worse, let's talk about Shanghai, China. A month after the Colorado incident, several EVs caught fire in a residential parking garage. The result? Significant structural damage. Imagine coming home to find out not only your car, but your entire parking structure is in flames. It's a nightmare scenario. Now consider what happened in Hackensack, New Jersey. Also, conveniently, in March 2023, a marked electric Audi Q5 caught fire in a parking garage. It took firefighters over 7 hours and thousands of gallons of water to extinguish the fire and cool down the battery. It's not just an inconvenience, it's a massive drain on resources and a glaring red flag about the safety of these vehicles. Let's not forget the fire at Nissan's Tennessee headquarters. More than 45,000 gallons of water were required to put out the flames from an EV fire. The sheer amount of water needed to combat these fires is staggering and highlights how ill-prepared we are to handle such incidents. Another dramatic case involved a cargo ship near the Dutch coast, carrying 4,000 vehicles, including 500 EVs. The ship caught fire, spreading rapidly and tragically resulting in the death of one crew member. The ship eventually sank, posing an environmental threat to the area. This incident isn't just about vehicle safety. It's a reminder of the broader risks these fires pose to lives and the environment. These incidents aren't isolated. They're part of a distributing trend that raises serious questions about the viability and safety of electric vehicles. The promise of a clean, green future is starting to look like a smokescreen, hiding the very real dangers that come with it. If we're going to trust our lives and our environment to these vehicles, we need answers and solutions, not more fires and excuses. EV fires are difficult to stop. Now, sure, some studies out there will tell you that EVs supposedly have a lower fire incident rate than their gas-guzzling counterparts, but let's be real. Those studies conveniently gloss over some critical details. When an EV catches fire, it's not just a simple engine blaze. We're talking about lithium-ion batteries that can turn into ticking time bombs. Once these batteries ignite, the fire is not only more intense, but also incredibly difficult to put out. Firefighters need special training and equipment to handle these infernos, and even then, it's a massive challenge. Consider this: a gasoline car catches fire, you douse it with water or foam, and it's over. But an EV fire? No, it's a very different beast. And here's why EV fires are such a nightmare to put out compared to traditional vehicle fires. First off, the temperatures involved are absolutely scorching. When an electric vehicle goes up in flames, we're talking about temperatures that can reach up to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit or 2,800 degrees Celsius. That's nearly triple the heat of a typical combustion engine fire, which maxes out at around 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit or 800 degrees Celsius. This extreme heat isn't just uncomfortable to deal with. It means that the fire is intensely aggressive, making it incredibly hard to control. Then there's the issue of burn time. EV fires don't just burn out quickly. They tend to have a much longer burn time, which means the fire can keep raging for hours or even days. This extended burn time isn't just a hassle, it's a serious danger because it prolongs the risk of the damage and makes it hard for firefighters to declare the scene safe. Now, here's the kicker. EV fires have a notorious reputation for reigniting. That's right, because these fires can flare up again even days after they seem to be extinguished. Why? Well, because of the nature of lithium-ion batteries. These batteries can experience what's known as thermal runaway, a chain reaction that leads to an uncontrollable release of heat and fire. So even after you think you've put out the fire, there's a real risk of it coming back to life. Accessing the battery pack itself is another huge problem. In traditional vehicles, the fuel tank is relatively easy to reach, and firefighters can get to it quickly. But with EVs, the battery packs are often located in complex and hard-to-reach areas of the vehicle. This complicates the firefighting efforts because it's not just about spraying water or foam, it's about getting to the source of the fire, which can be buried deep within the car's structure. Speaking of water, EV fires require a lot more of it. Traditional vehicle fires might need a few thousand gallons of water to put out, but an EV fire can require much more. The general recommendation is to use copious amounts of water to cool down the battery and prevent it from reigniting. Firefighters can easily end up using tens of thousands of gallons of water, which is not only resource intensive, but also raises the risk of water damage to nearby structures and the environment. Impact of EV fires. Now, the impact of EV fires extends far beyond just the immediate danger and inconvenience. It's creating ripple effects across various industries and influencing safety protocols in surprising ways. When we talk about electric vehicle fires, we're looking at a broader picture that includes transportation restrictions, safety recommendations, and more. One of the most significant implications is how EV fires are altering the way we transport these vehicles. Ferries and cargo ships have been hit hard by the need to mitigate fire risks. There have been restrictions and even outright bans on transporting EVs on certain ferries and cargo ships. The risk of a fire breaking out during transit poses a serious threat to both the ship and its cargo. Imagine the nightmare scenario of a battery fire igniting on a packed ferry or a cargo ship in the middle of the ocean. So to prevent this, shipping companies are implementing stricter rules and, in some cases, turning away EVs altogether. This not only complicates logistics, but also adds costs and delays to the transport of electric vehicles. Additionally, the fire risks are causing automakers to rethink their safety advice to customers. Many manufacturers are now recommending that EV owners park their vehicles away from other cars, structures, and even their own homes. This precaution is intended to minimize the risk of a fire spreading to adjacent vehicles or buildings. In some cases, this advice means parking EVs in isolated areas, which can be impractical for urban dwellers who don't have access to such spaces. Industry response. What's truly alarming is that despite the growing number of EV fires, automakers seem way more focused on rolling out new electric models than addressing these critical safety concerns. We keep seeing headlines about EVs bursting into flames, posing serious risks to lives and property. Yet the industry's response is far from reassuring. Instead of prioritizing the resolution of these dangerous issues, automakers appear fixated on explaining their EV lineup and capturing market share. It's almost as if they're turning a blind eye to the very real and present danger that these fires represent. This relentless drive to innovate and dominate the EV market comes at the expense of safety, leaving consumers vulnerable. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this.